Hello, this is Cameron. I'm back to show off a little bit more of my collection. This time, again, working backwards from Z to A. I'm starting off with X. I only have 2 albums, and Y, where I have 39 albums. So let's get started. First one is Exit, and the album is called Silent Warrior. Next up is XTC, the Oranges and Lemons album. So that's New Wave. It came out in '83. The Exit came out in '73. Now this is an interesting folk rock album by Gabriel Yacoub, who had been part of Malicorn and played with Alain Stivell from France. Gabriel Yacoub. Now this is a sort of oddball album where she's playing as if she were Janis Joplin. This is Yancey, Celia Yancey. This came out in 1976. Again, the Gabriel Yacoub had been 1978. So Gabrielle or Celia Yancey, I'm not sure if she's American or if she's from Europe. Now an Argentine singer, Roberto Llanes, The Love in Your Eyes, Te Quiero, I Love You. This album came out, I'm not sure, but it looks like it's from the 70s. I always like getting Latin American music. I speak Spanish quite well, having lived in the Dominican Republic for 5 years. And I always like to keep in touch with Latin American music, get exposed to new forms. Next up from the Limelighters, some folk, Glenn Yarbrough, and he's playing music written by Rod McEwen. Now here's some 80s budget label reissues of Yardbirds, Five Live Yardbirds. These are short albums, so they obviously were looking at cutting the amount of royalties they'd have to pay. So from the 80s, Five Live Yardbirds, but music's still great, of course. Heart Full of Soul. Good pictures. Nice cartoony covers. Who came first? The Yardbirds came first. And then there's a bootleg, More Golden Eggs. Sound quality is so-so. It's not obviously not out of the soundboard. At least it doesn't seem like it. A triple collection of the greatest hits of the Yardbirds in a box. With all their big hits in the early days. Now a garage rock from the 80s, Yard Trauma. This came out in 1985 from the US, part of the garage rock revival. second Yard Trauma album must have been something I took last night. Again, a revival of the garage from the 60s sound, but in the 80s. Now, what's known in England as Yazoo, but in Canada as Yaz, Upstairs at Eric's. Now, this is, how would you describe it? Synth pop. This album came out in 1981. Synth pop. This came out in 1982. Followed by their second album, You and Me Both. Then I have a Noisier Band from, let me just get my cheat sheets. Some post-punk from UK, Yeah Yeah No. And this is Fun on the Lawn, Lawn, Lawn from 1986. An EP, Peel Sessions of Yeah Yeah No, and this came out in 87. Now we got some 80s reissues of Yes. First of all, Time in a Word, which I believe is their second album. The Yes album. Fragile. And then I had to skip all the way ahead to the early 80s, 1983, I believe, 90125. Got a couple copies of this album. And finally, for this video, part one of two parts on why, I have some El Salvadoran revolutionary music by Jolocamba Ita, Canto a la Patria Revolucionaria, so revolutionary songs from El Salvador. Definitely the side in which I was supportive during the 80s, and with friends who were refugees from the FMLN here in Winnipeg, who are among my friends. They were fighting for a better place in El Salvador. So that's it for now. I'm going to post part 2 shortly, and I hope that you all have a good day. Bye-bye.